Alright gamers, we are finally done with arcade mode of Soul Calibur 2222, and it's finally time for us to continue our collection guide going through Weapons Master mode. So without further ado, let's just get underway with this one. Alrighty, so here we go. So as you guys can see, you know, main menu and stuff like that, you go to Weapon Master mode and you hit yourself, of course, new game. You gotta enter in obviously your name, that kind of idea. See, we're starting from the very beginning. Now, I will say there's one slight, probably slow down function. You know, we just got finished with arcade mode, and the big thing is that there's a lot of text reading, and I thought, okay, we're going to go through the whole story of Weapon Master mode. Let's do it. So, chosen by history, a man became a warrior. Engraved into history, a warrior becomes a hero. Transcending into the world. See, I can't even keep up with that shit. So it is quite fast. So countless legends surround a sword known as Soul Edge. Some claim it to be the ultimate weapon, others refer to it as the Sword of Heroes. A phantom sword with immeasurable power and, yeah, the sword born from human hands came to life and began devouring souls after bathing in human blood countless times. Around the same time, a spirit sword called Soul Calibur mysteriously appeared as if to answer the call of the evil blade. All throughout history, men have craved adventure. Human qualities such as greed, curiosity, and questing minds are intimately interwoven with history and drive it onward. Men saw salt, never mind. This era was what is there? Inundated? Huh. I'm not going to catch up anyways, but yeah, okay. So, this is the actual story, you know. This is your tale of soul and swords. So, here we're at the command menu, blah, blah, blah. It tells us how to use it, you know, the missions, etc., etc. Yeah, I found that speech, that text scroll to go very, very fast. I hope it wasn't just me. But, you know, like, I could probably read it just barely if I wasn't focusing on actually, you know, reading it aloud. But, my God, it really goes fast. So, anyways, acquiring weapons, how the hidden extras work, etc., etc. You know, it's not exactly the best explanation page in the world, but here it is. You guys can read it, go through it. Now, of course, you select your character, what character you want to utilize throughout. You can always change up these characters, however, but where this is Soul Calibur 2 featuring Link, the GameCube version, Chapter 1 on the Proving Grounds, we are going to, of course, use Link. So, you stood before the entrance to the Proving Grounds in the land of Regulus. Famous for its skilled swordsmen, you predicted that your journey to find the legendary ultimate sword Soul Edge would likely be a difficult one, therefore you, never mind. Halt, you who seek mastery of the way of the warrior, we have no interest in those who lack potential. First you must prove your worth. It seemed you had to fight the man to prove your strength and determination. Seeing you take hold of your weapon without a moment's hesitation, the man grinned and said, well, looks like we've got a lively one. As I said, yeah, my editing is quite poor as far as reading all the text scrolls, so apologies for that. But I also didn't want to spend eons going through the story when this video series is a gaming collecting guide. It's how-to rather than going through the story mode. You know, we're not, you know, it's not all cutscenes of Soul Calibur 2 or the story of Soul Calibur 2 explained, you know. So, anyway, obviously this is the first mission, pretty straightforward. So yeah, we're going to clear all the exercises. So this is almost actually a bit of a learning curve. It teaches you how to do a few neat things, you know. It's like, alright, let's just, instead of practice mode, you go through it here with Mitsurugi. So you get your horizontal attacks. Of course, these these button prompts do not correspond to, of course, a PS4 controller, which is what I used on the emulation, so things are a little different. Plus, they always say perform K to kick, but there is no K button, so these aren't even, and the G button and stuff like that. So these are guard. These were the prompts that are like universal in your attack list, your move list, rather than the actual controller itself, so that makes it even more confusing. When I was a kid, I was like, there's no G button, what are they talking about? So obviously this is very straightforward. You just follow what they're asking you to do, the mission prompts, etc., etc. You're just going through basically your moveset and how to use different techniques and combos. Oh, we love Guard Impact. Guard Impact is so much fun. Yes. So this, as I said, it showcases all the different moves we're going to be utilizing. But yeah, the first chapter, chapter 1, is not that complicated. Quite easy to go between. So then you have to perform your own Guard Impact, of course. And then finally a Soul Charge, which I almost always forget to do. I almost never use a Soul Charge, and I really should, but I almost never do. So there, first mission, and we've already unlocked a new feature, and that feature is... What do we got? Extra Practice Mode is available. So there we go. So we unlocked a mode right out of the gate. So in the first, 5 minutes, we're already cooking. So those were the proving grounds of Regulus, which is of course the first section. Of course, there's our experience and our gold and stuff like that. From what I understand, your level and your experience doesn't increase your strength at all, from what I gather, from what I understand. So take that what you will. Being level 50 or being level 70 doesn't really matter. So you can, of course, read all this text and stuff like that. As you go through, it'll explain like why you're going to each region and why you're battling certain people in certain areas and stuff like that. But for the most part, as we've already found out from my text reading already, is that the game speed is quite quick for reading aloud, and my own editing in pausing and letting myself read it and stuff is not the best. So we won't really be doing much of that going forward here. But it seems I gave myself a little bit of time here. Edgar, yes. He will be... Edgar will definitely be around. Because we do fight some named versions, like Raphael is Leon or something like that. There's different characters that you will inevitably end up fighting, and they will have the highlighted yellow names from the mission briefing here and stuff like that. Because when I originally started editing this, as you guys can tell, I had enough pause that I thought I would be reading everything aloud and going through the proper story and everything like that. But I'm realizing that, except for this one mission here, obviously, I didn't allow myself enough time to do that realistically. So, but anyways, yeah. So let's just get underway with it here. But no, I'm not going back and re-editing. This was a lot of footage to edit, and so I'm just, just gonna have to take my little editing snubs and my slow down moments, what we will. So utilize everything we learned in the first mission, obviously, to defeat your opponents. Now this means, this is the first time we'll be seeing this, is that you can fight multiple opponents with the same character and or health bar. So we start off fighting off against Keelik, who's kind of kicking our ass initially there. And then we get into it with Link later on. This is very early on, before we actually finish most of arcade mode, as you guys could probably tell. And sometimes, like right there, we get some of our health back, but not all of our health back as you defeat opponents. Usually the timer resets, so you gain some time back, plus then you get some health back, but not always. It depends on the mission, of course. So now we have to face Xianghua. And we're doing much better here with our offensive capabilities. Going for the stab, it's not really working, and then she capitalized with a really big grapple. We do a grapple of our own that takes out Xianghua. And of course we gain a lot of health back, timer resets, so now we got it. It looks like we're facing off against Maxi. Blonde Maxi by the looks of it. Yeah, Blonde Maxi. Alright, let's go. Final battle fight. Alright. Oh, we went for a grapple for some reason. I don't know why. Okay, we're going for the stab. We really like the stabbing for some reason, but it's not. We're not succeeding very well. Boom. And ooh, this is really down to the. Oh, that was close. Down to the wire. We really got to realize that stab is not Link's. We get better with Link, as I said, because if you notice, we acquired gold shortly after the first couple of missions of arcade mode. That's because you have to start Weapons Master mode to gain gold, right? So we definitely were doing that going forward. And the Warrior's Trial Grounds is, of course, the last. So there's 3 missions in Chapter 1. You have to defeat each one, of course, to unlock the following chapter. It's pretty straightforward. But yeah, depending on the reason you have to gain experience is that experience also allows you to have access to certain areas. In fact, there's one area you can't unlock until I think you're level, I want to say 73 or so. Anyways, I will definitely be, by the time we reach there, we're not there yet, of course, but by the time we reach it, I will definitely remember, I have it in my notes, the criteria for unlocking certain things. So the levels do matter. Gaining experience is always really solid. Gaining gold, of course, will unlock quite a few things. Not just weapons, but costumes and different like art galleries and etc. The high-res galleries, stuff like that you can all buy in the shops here. So there's always that as well. But yeah, so I started this Weapons Master Mode, and you can tell my skill level isn't that great. So that when I was going through arcade mode to do the original recordings and stuff previously, I wasn't wasting doing all that stuff and not gaining any gold. You know, you get 1,000 gold per time you do it. Oh, there it is, Leon. Yes, I remember his name is Leon. So Raphael, we will see him multiple times. He is our rival going through this story, is Leon. Or Raphael, but Leon. So let's fight against him as the boss here. Ooh, we are not, okay. We love the stabby move early on, I don't know why. It's one of Link's very situational moves, and it's not very strong. Easily blockable, so I don't know why we go for it. And oh, that guard deflect, and then boom. We do manage to beat him, but that was not great. So, obviously, a new feature was unlocked for clearing the chapter for the first time. And we get the gold and everything like that. So the newest feature is the Lakeside Coliseum. So where we just fought, we unlock one of the stages. So that's how you unlock the Lakeside Coliseum as a stage. You beat the boss of Chapter 1 in Weapon Master Mode, and you get here. So now we have, oh, shit. Now we go to Chapter 2, which is Thuban. Chapter 2, the journey begins. So now we're sort of really underway with it. If you're in search of Soul Edge, you should head east. Past the land of Thuban lies the free city of Benethnuk. I don't know how to say that. With its never-ending flow of people, perhaps you can gather information there. Following Edgar's advice, you set off toward the east. You did not know if you would really find information about Soul Edge in Benethnuk or not, but it was better than wandering aimlessly. You turned to look back just once. Oh, we actually had enough time to read all that. That's crazy. So maybe my editing did get a little bit, just a tad, a wee bit better as it went on. You win this time, said Leon after the battle, but I'll catch up to you soon. Tomorrow I'm going to take the test again. Oh, and I've heard you're searching for the Soul Edge. If that's the case, then we'll surely meet again. It seems we're rivals with the same goal. Looking forward to our next encounter. You face forward again and begin to walk. Your journey had begun. Okay, so obviously, a little bit of context there. Edgar was training like warriors and stuff like that of their own purpose. Leon is obviously was the final test, you know, sort of going to Final Fantasy VIII route with this one. So now we go to the Thuban Ferry, which is the first mission of Chapter 2, which is a specific. Now, always read these. So land 20 hits on the enemy and survive the round. You know, this is probably going to be a very shortened time limit then. I'm going to guess, yeah, 20 seconds to land 20 hits. So, and the attack counter's right there, so you don't have to guess. But obviously, the stabbing move we love so much is definitely the one we should be going for. And 14, 15, 16, we just got to go for it. There it is, cleared, and we did not die, thankfully. And obviously, the grapple does not count as an attack, by the way, so good to know for anybody who's a big fan of grapples. I, of course, am. And that's how we got to level 2. With 1700 experience, that was enough to gain us level 2. So now we go to the next mission of Chapter 2. So that was the Thuban Fairyland, 20 hits. And then we're into the village of Arcay. Strong gusts constantly push you and prevent you from stopping at the edge of the stage. Defeat the enemy under those conditions. Yeah. So the strong gusts idea, you know, I love how it's they prevent you from stopping at the edge of the stage. So like that just means you can easily be blown off, as it were, right? So yeah. And yeah, as I said, I think my editing gets better after this because I'm just all over the place.
Versus Young Sung. Fate conspired to arrange their battle.
So Young Sung is the person we're going to be fighting here. Now, as I said, normally I use Link for about 95% of Weapon Master Mode. I don't switch up the character. So, as you can see, we're being pushed. So, obviously, ring out is highly likely to happen in these conditions as we get pushed closer to the edge. So, just a quick, yeah. We don't even need to do a pushing maneuver with that one, like a move or a throw or a grapple that'll throw them over, because the winds will just push them as you launch just regular attacks. Now, dungeons are interesting. You navigate the enemy infested dungeon and find the boss, right? And defeat the boss, sorry. Navigate the enemy infested dungeon and defeat the boss. So, some of these dungeons are obviously very easy, very, some of them are very long and drawn out. As you get further into the game, some of these dungeons are like, oh, I just want to play a mission, you know? Though, normally the conditions are very straightforward. Sometimes they have, once in a while, might have a poison weapon or something like that, or a regenerative weapon. But for the most part, it's just straight up fight the enemy, defeat the enemy. There's no crazy conditions. But they are almost always full-blown characters. You know, it's not a bunch of characters that have health or anything like that, like we just had to fight off against Taki there. They're usually not weak in any regard, you know, and sometimes actually they can get harder, and there's sometimes points in a dungeon that aren't the boss room, but it's like, okay, this is the, the sub-boss or like a checkpoint character that's just always seems that little bit stronger. The AI is bumped up a little bit like that. Not so much in these earlier dungeons. They're all pretty much the same level, but as you go on, you may encounter that same feeling that I did. I have no proof of that, by the way, but just certain times, if you did a dungeon that had like a big square in it, the four corners all seem to be just a harder opponent. So now we face off against Yoshimitsu. Sure, Yoshimitsu in the dungeon. He's our boss for Chapter 2 here. He's the boss of the dungeon, and he's the boss of Chapter 2. There we are. So let's go after Yoshimitsu. Oh yes, we love our overhand moves. Waiting for him to get close, obviously. And yeah, we love that move. But of course, it's easy to get wrung out if we end up. See, now we're switching positions. And did he just KO himself? It looked like he KO'd himself. Alright, so we reached level 3, and we got a new feature unlocked by clearing the chapter. Note that, by clearing the chapter once again. And that, of course, is going to be Yoshimitsu himself. So not only do you unlock Yoshimitsu, that means that's another weapon added to the weapons one. His standard weapon. So, both of those will be unlocked and included down below. And we're already moved on to Chapter 3. So as I said, this a lot of this can go fairly quickly, but then some chapters, especially some dungeons, take a big amount, right? So Chapter 3, their boss defeated in the front of their eyes. The miners looked as though they would attack at any moment. Sherlock stepped forward and silenced them. You idiots, just how much more do you plan to do something? He promised to provide an antidote to the fishermen and agreed to discuss the situation. Your mission to mediate the dispute was a complete success. The rest was up to them. It seems Sherlock took quite a liking to you. Even as you hurried to leave, he practically dragged you back and insisted that you something. The next morning, you bid farewell to everyone and headed out east to the opposite side of the mine. After traveling for some time, you eventually got sight of Beneslilaklanet in the distance and could feel the change in the atmosphere. The performers and travelers of the road increased in number, and you something and something else. Yeah. So, once again, we're not too crazily focused on that stuff, but we're finally in Benexnaxnaxnax, in Chapter 3, and the first stage is the Carnival. You cannot hold your footing at the edge of the stage to defeat the enemy with a ring out. Specifically with a ring out, so obviously the damage will be very small or non-existent, so we can't hold our footing, so we cannot, but I don't know if we're facing off against Charade, a Young Sung Charade. Can't tell if that also applies to him. So, either way, we just have to try our best here. Because he can do full damage to us. We can't do full damage to him. So we're trying our best here to... We got to get him in the ring out position here. And, oh, we almost had him just with that upper blow. Oh, there it is. And we got it. We got it. Ring out time. And a quick feature unlock there, of course. Guess who it is? Anybody want to take a guess? It's Charade, of course it is. Unlocking another character. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that nice? I don't believe that includes weapons. Of course, I'll check my notes. But I don't believe Charade actually unlocks weapons because, of course, he uses everybody else's weapons and style. So there are no weapons as far as Charade goes. So that's only a 1 unlock there. So you can go either direction. We're just going down below here to mission number 2. There's 4 missions in this chapter. We went to the southern mission, but you can, of course, go to the northern mission. It's up to you. So now throws and grapples are more effective. So, and of course, we love them. So let's fight off against Raphael. Okay, going in. Oh, we went for it, but he's just not having any of it. But it seems like, okay, grapples are more effective, but I don't seem to need them. Because we're doing the same amount of damage. But anyways, then I noticed a timer, and I'm like, ah, that's why. Because you might not be able to finish in time, but we managed to make that work pretty quickly. And with that, level 4. With 4,000 experience, you should reach level 4. Once again, these levels will eventually matter for unlocking all the areas. And by defeating the southern mission in Benixnak, you unlock Shaydar, a bonus area. So now we can go to the gambling den up here to do the 3rd mission. And it's Leon once again. We're facing off against Leon. Interesting that. Receive heavy damage when knocked against the ground or wall. So we must defeat him under this condition. Let's go. So we need to knock him against the wall. Or the ground. We sort of did there. There you go. See, sometimes you have to specifically knock them. It can't just be something like that, like you fall to the ground. It can't be like that. You have to knock them to the ground. And of course the timer is a thing. Like right there, I think my bomb should have went off, but yeah, that's the time it worked. So we really are running out of time here, so we really need to get it. There we go. And now if we knock him against the wall, boom. Oh, no, that wasn't against the wall, but close enough. Boom. Alright, with 13 seconds to spare. That one I don't have any advice for. You just spam and try to knock them down quickly as possible. Link's a very well-rounded character, versatile with a lot of different moves. Someone like Nightmare would have a lot easier time with that one for sure. And then the final mission is up against Maxi here. The enemy's weapons have a poison, so you will go numb if you are damaged. Defeat all the enemies under this condition. Okay, here we go. So the enemies, as in multiple? Yep. And look who ends it off. Cervantes. I'm going to assume that this is also where we unlock Cervantes in the final mission of Chapter 3. So, just going for it. Boom, boom, boom. And once again, this is likely you gain some health back if you do lose health as each opponent goes forward. You know, they're less forgiving as you go further through Weapon Master mode, but here there's no way to know exactly because we didn't take any damage the first time. And we're taking very minimum amount of damage this time to Ivy. She was only doing some little kicks. We have a very heavy sword that we're, well, we kicked her ass there, didn't we? Kind of appropriate that Ivy, it's funny that Ivy's second, while Cervantes is like the final. Like, she's not even his, like, commander or lieutenant. It's Valdo. It's kind of funny. Okay, I don't know how either one of us missed that, but alright. Okay, trying to go for the grapple. Didn't work a few times. Worked the next time. Trying to go for the ring out. Didn't exactly work. Oh, we're getting, that numbness is happening. That poison. The poison isn't taking down our health. It's just numbing us for a second. But we do manage to take out Voldem, and as you can tell, the health does come back, maybe to full in some missions. From what I've seen, it can go all the way back to full, but depending on the mission and the circumstances, sometimes it's only a percentage, you know, like 30, 40%. Okay, so we're just going all in against Cervantes here. We're just not letting him get an inch. Quick grapple, boom. And Cervantes is actually gaining health back, but we got a full perfect on him. He was slowly gaining health. And with that, we get a new feature, of course, because the chapter is officially cleared, and it's going to be Cervantes. There we go. So that's how you unlock Cervantes. Once again, that's a double because that's a weapon and a character all in one go. So pretty cool there. So congratulations. We open up to Chapter 4. Now, I want to say we aren't going to do the extra one first. No, we're going to go to Mizar first, which is Chapter 4 indeed, the first gate. Okay. After creating quite a stir at the port, you decide to leave the city before the situation grow worse. After making off with a small boat and paddling out onto the lake, you glance back at Ben Snock's behind you. Despite the number of people there, you weren't able to track down any information about Soul Edge. In the midst of the morning fog, the growing something. You continued a ways further onto the lake, but it was obvious that this dinghy would not be able to carry you all the way across. After stepping back on shore, you learned that you were now in a place called Mizar. According to the locals, a large gate lay to the east, and passing through it required permission of the guards. You began to something. It was then that you truly realized just how difficult the quest for Soul Edge was. So is my reading comprehension at that pace. 100%. So, Mizar has now 5 missions. 5 missions, right? Okay, so now we're going to actually check out Shadar, or Chadar, which is a sub-chapter known as Sacred Treasure. So as you guys could see, all you had to do, I'm not going to be able to read all that. So yeah, in time, I'm sure. But as you guys saw, you defeat the southern mission there in Chapter 3, and it will automatically unlock. There's no other unlocking conditions. It will unlock the subchapter Sacred Treasure immediately here in Shadar. So, and of course, this is the time I give myself plenty of time here. I probably could have read through all that for sure. There's a shortcut. There's a place called a temple, Defilda Temple. After the fight, he reappeared and told you about it to show us thanks. My God, I left myself a huge amount. Is the video paused, for God's sakes? Oh, there we go. Might as well keep reading then. Shadar was well known among adventurers, an ancient civilization that vanished long ago. Left behind countless ruins in the area, and even in the present time, there was still a never-ending flow of travelers visiting Shadar in search of knowledge and treasure. The man explained excitedly that he had discovered a new ruin that no one had seen yet. He'd returned to Ben Snock to gather supplies for exploring it when he got involved in the trouble at the bar. In recognition of his debt to you, he revealed his secrets. There you go. So that's why if you battle there in that mission, you know, I'm sure it explains in the actual mission briefing itself, like you were at a bar, things broke out, etc., etc. So yeah, this time I actually give myself some time. As you continued along the path, you will eventually come upon a half-buried ruin. Your heart began to beat faster. Boom, 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 boom. I can see that. But we're unlocking quite a few things here. We've beaten the first 3 chapters, all the missions, unlocked everything from those chapters. Now we're into a sub-chapter dungeon, the Stone Temple, right out of the gate. And we're going to do it. Okay, we're going to do the sub-chapter right now before we move on to Chapter 4. Fair enough. Alright. It doesn't really matter the order you do any of this in. Nothing disappears from your map, and there's no timing or anything like that. So there's a berserker we gotta fight. Who initially started at half health, and I'm starting to see why we might need it, because he's kicking the crap out of us. Yeah, he boom. Well, our winning streak had to end. But yeah, you do get gold for every mission failed. You in the dungeon specifically, you'll always gain gold. I believe it's experience you gain for every other type of mission that you fail. You'll still gain a little bit of experience just for attempting it. You can see your actual amount of attempts in every mission window. So now we gotta do this again. It's like, alright, we're gonna go for it. Go for the hyper offense. That did not work. Nope, now we're at half health. Now we're lower than he is. And now, oh my god, we're about to die. And then we go for it. We have barely any health left, and so we just go for a couple of heavy blows. It manages to work, but my god, isn't that sad? I find that incredibly sad. This berserker had half health, kicked our ass the first time, kicked our ass the second time, and we just got lucky. That is very, very sad. Not a great showing from us. Anyways, as you guys can tell, our money has been increasing slowly but surely. Because not only for the missions, but you might see those deviations because, of course, we will have been doing, and right there, we just got our ass kicked again by a berserker. My god. We are not very good at fighting berserkers, clearly. Because due to, of course, you guys saw in arcade mode, as we unlock things and as we were beating things, we'd get 1,000 gold. So it's only little increments, but it all adds up to about 20,000 gold. You know, 20 characters in arcade, so... And we get our ass kicked again. Now, this is where I'm learning something here. For whatever reason, and most of the dungeons do not do this, but if you notice, my health does not return. Big key thing here. So the amount of health we beat him with, we only gained a little bit back, as you guys can see right there. So one hit is enough to take us down. That's why we keep losing so quickly. It's not that... you know, we're literally losing that poorly. It's just one massive hit from a berserker and it's all over. So, but of course you'll gain health if you win. So the trick is to just try to get him in close. And that didn't work either. But this is how we're making money, as you guys can see. This is how we make our money. We lose a fuck ton. And that's where I'm getting a little frustrated, obviously. I'm like, should I just quit this? Am I ready for this yet? Like, obviously my skill level isn't ready. And then I'm just like, alright, we're going to try it. And then nope. And then nope, nope, nope. Because he can finish us in one hit. One good hit and we're done for. And I'm just sitting here like, do I just restart the whole dungeon? At this point, it might be the right idea. Because obviously, we've only beaten one berserker. If we go back and defeat that first berserker with better health, you know, this will probably end up easier. So we're just waiting on the guard, and nope, it still doesn't work because we get knocked out. Yeah. So this is where, obviously, I'm showcasing this to you guys so you also realize that it can be very frustrating, and sometimes your determination isn't going to matter. So this is where we exit the dungeon, and we go right back into it. Because we're like, okay, there's no way this is fair. There's no way that this game, this early on, even a sub-chapter, which are generally just set at a higher difficulty than the first few chapters. But see, there we are, full health. So now, we have to win this one without losing so much bloody health. So obviously, I'm going for either a throw. Yeah, I'm going for something. And there, we take all the health. We lose anyways. So, we lose the first battle anyway, so now we're even further behind. But obviously, a full health bar is going to help us, because as long as we defeat this guy far better than we did the last time, it should go easier.
The final battle. Fight.
But yeah, I'm trying the defensive approach, but he's got better reach. It's just not working. You know, I'm trying everything possible. Then we try the hyper offense, and we've nearly got it, and then we get a perfect. Okay, so now we're going into the second berserker fight with full health. And that does matter. So you just got to be patient with that stuff. Like, you are going to screw up, but I think this and one other dungeon are the only ones where that becomes a serious issue, you know? I know that this one is like the one that actually gave me the most amount of my troubles. So I immediately just go for the hyper offensive route. Just so it's like, okay, there we go. And see, you gain health back as long as you win. So, obviously, you want to have a lot of health, though, against these berserkers, because they're like Astaroth. They hit like crazy. So. And another Berserker at half. And we wait for him to come to us. That was a mistake. We start with the guard. Oh, and he was going to Soul Edge blast us into oblivion. But we do manage to get him done pretty well. But see the amount of health that returned? It wasn't even enough. It was only about 20%. Maybe not even. Maybe 15. So you got to be careful with that. You really need to keep an eye on your health with these half-health Berserkers. And now here's a full-health Berserker. So this is going to be even worse. We've not even had to fight that yet. However, oh, the booby traps are just hitting him for days. And he doesn't seem to want to guard nearly as much, so we managed to beat that one. And because it was a full-health Berserker, we gained a lot more back for our health. I don't know if there is possibly a correlation between the amount of damage you deal comes off as a percentage of how much health you get back or something. I'm not sure. I always thought it was battle to battle, mission to mission, preset, how much would return. But maybe it has something to do with it. And then another half-health Berserker. So like I was saying about dungeons previously, there always seems to be something in there. A Berserker, in this case a Berserker, but like halfway through a dungeon it's not a boss room, but then we fought that full health Berserker, right? We got lucky against him, but yeah, and here's another one, see? So sometimes we're fighting these half health ones and these full health ones. Now this one seems to not want to guard whatsoever, so I don't know what the deal is there, but we're keeping up that offense. We're just not letting him gain an inch because that would be bad. And he's almost got us wrung out, and he rings us out. So because we failed the mission, however, we start off back with the amount of health that we had, I believe, when we won the last one. I believe that's how that works. So, and yes it does. So now, both of these Berserkers in the different directions, which once again, explore all the rooms. Oh, we got a ring out, that's cool. Definitely explore all the rooms in a dungeon at least the first time. I don't believe anything is different the second time, even though I'd probably end up doing it just to be safe. But you will find a couple unlockables in the dungeons themselves at times. Now granted, I believe they are all weapons and are all you're able to purchase all the weapons through the stores in Weapon Master Mode. However, I can't 100% guarantee that because obviously I unlocked some weapons in the temples, right? So, or in the dungeons, I should say. So, if you happen to be missing one, or in my when I do the shopping guide or something like that, like with all the weapons I buy in the different areas and where you get them, if you're missing, a Raphael Rapier or some Tomfos of Talum or something like that, just make sure to go back and see if, they were in one of these areas. Because it's impossible to know with the shops, because some of the shops share inventories to a degree. So, in that regard, some weapons, if you buy everything in the store in Chapter 1, by the time you go to Chapter 6 store, there's going to be some stuff. And perfect example right here, a new feature unlocked at this particular junction. We acquired, I can't say that, but a weapon for Raphael, one of his rapiers, one of Raphael's rapiers. I have no idea. But yeah, so there's a weapon unlocked, boom, right there from the subchapter dungeon, and it was that tile, that room right there. So the left of the intersection, the western block of the intersection.
The almighty final battle. Fight.
Man, we get our ass kicked by this guy every time. We came back here to be like, okay, maybe we can do something against this guy. Maybe not. Oh, we're just going for that grapple, and we shouldn't be. Oh, he's going to win this. I have a feeling. Yep. But in that case, where we were so low on health, depending on the amount we were going to get back, it's better to just outright lose. That way, as you get further in the dungeon, you're not winning by the skin of your teeth. Winning by your skin of your teeth in dungeons like this is actually bad. Because as we saw at the beginning, by starting off with such a low amount of health, I couldn't beat the second room without restarting the whole dungeon. Oh, and we do get the grapple off, and then boom, we go for while he's down. I love that overhand move, because while he's down, it's always good. We're gaining quite a bit of gold here as well, but you're going to need a lot of gold for the amount of weapons you're going to have to buy, even by unlocking things slowly throughout playing every spot in every mission and every spot in every dungeon. You are going to find that. And holy shit, yeah, I should just die here. Yeah. Because that's better for me. Because he destroyed us. At least now, you know, so make sure you always utilize that as a strategy, so you don't get stuck in a position like I was at the beginning of the dungeon, right? So let's do this again. Okay, we went for hyper offense. It did not work. It did not work. But we got the grapple in, so now extend and hope for the chip damage. Chip damage, be my friend, and no, we get destroyed. And ring out. Man, oh man. This dungeon is quite difficult early on. I'd probably do a lot better in this dungeon were I to continue, you know, probably by the second time around, you know, because unfortunately, spoiler alert, guys, and then we get a perfect. Go figure. You do have to play through Weapon Master Mode again. You do have to do it all over again. You do have to play mode number 2. So you beat all these chapters, everything you can do, which there are some stuff you can't unlock the first time through, hence why you got to go through basically a new game plus, and you're going to have to do it. We're going to be covering that, of course, as well, but for right now, let's just beat what we can beat. And once again, a lot of this, you don't have to do the first round if this is too hard or something like that. Like, obviously, I'm struggling a lot in this dungeon. If it gets too difficult, you eventually can come back and do it when you're, you know, you get back into the groove of things. Because at this point, I've probably only been playing this, you know, 3 or 4 hours. You know, my skills are very rusty, you know. It's one of those things, it's like playing Super Smash Brothers if you haven't played in a long time. You know, your skills are going to be super rusty. Playing for 1 minute, you know, for an hour isn't going to make you as good as you were. Anybody else come back to a game where they were able to play on like super hard mode, nightmare mode, and they were like, yeah, I used to be able to beat these dragons or beat these things, and you go back and you get absolutely destroyed? Yeah, it's like that. That's why you can't put down these like bigger games anymore. These any of these open world games, especially, or those big games. Oh, and here we fight an invisible berserker while we have half health. Fantastic. I can't see what's going on. I don't know what's going on. I'm trying to keep him at a distance, but we're about to die, so something matters. And so we're at half health, and the invisible berserker has full health. This is, as I said, this is not great. Not great at all. But it looks like we're almost through it. I'm hoping. This is quite a long dungeon, where our first few dungeons were like 4 rooms. You know, the first dungeon is like 3 rooms, second dungeon is like 5, 6 rooms, and now this one has been like 12 different missions, and we have not been doing very well. So, okay, well, we got him. Just keep that up. There we go. But of course, how much health are we going to get back? For being the invisible one, we nearly got all our health back. So, note that. If you manage to beat this one, obviously, you get almost the entirety of your health bar back. Interesting, that.
Now, final battle, fight.
And I think dungeons like this are just a little boring because it's just the same. You're beating up a million berserkers, or you're losing, like I am quite a bit. And it's just like, oh, when will this end? And yeah, like how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So this has been over 15 fights, 15 bouts already. And we've lost quite a few of them. So we must have been playing 20, 30 bouts here quite easily. You know, considering my losses, probably at least 30 that we've gone through in this last, you know, 10, 15 minutes. And it's like, And look, it just keeps going. It just keeps going. But you want to discover everywhere, because what if you miss out on something?
Final battle. Fight.
Plus, once again, every loss gets you just that little bit of gold, and you are going to need, to unlock everything, you are going to need quite a bit of gold. Trust me. There are obviously better missions to getting gold, but the less you have to do them, the better. And there we got our ass completely handed to us once again. So, yeah. We were speeding through that, I think, a little too quickly, to be honest with you. We were speeding through that. We did Chapter 1, even with the readings. We did Chapter 1, Chapter 2, Chapter 3, unlocked Chapter 4, and unlocked this chapter, and now we're finally, like, slowed up. Because in one video, oh my god, we just got destroyed. I hate Berserker right now. Like, I'm not even the one playing, you know, like, at the time, because I'm a frustrated gamer. You know, I get frustrated. Not after, like, stuff like that, but playing this dungeon, I can see myself getting frustrated, because it's boring, it's the same stages, it's the same stupid, ugly enemy, and, you know, it's just like, oh my god, when will the dungeons end? Dungeons are a good idea, but they get very tedious, very boring. And then when you kick their ass, they do something like that, and you still lose. See? Like, once again, the controller's sitting right here. You know, it's not even plugged in. So I'm not the one playing right now, but I was the one playing, and I'm watching this old footage, getting frustrated now. You know, like, can I just win these fights so we can move on to more exciting stuff? Because all the, like, I think there is a dungeon that has different stages. Like I'm sure of it actually. There's ones where you have the sand. Yeah, how do you like a ring out? There's ones that have like different, and that one gave us almost all our health back as well. There's different ones where they switch up the stage at least, you know, and they switch up the characters you fight. Most dungeons do. Most dungeons, at least you're fighting different characters, so it keeps it a little fresh. This dungeon is most likely the most boring damn dungeon. So it's good that we're getting out of the way, in a sense. And we only have to see it once more. But that's not for a while. Of course, we have to take a grapple, and we roll right into the next one. But we grapple him. Just go for it. Yeah, there we go. I can't wait to find that goddamn boss room. When I see it, it's going to be so nice. It's going to be so exciting. And it's right there. It's so close, isn't it? It's so close for us. But unfortunately... Okay. Oh, but we've got... Oh, we've got health. But we ring him out completely. Alright. That's pretty cool. I'll take that. I will certainly always take that. And by doing that, we unlocked a weapon, the side harpe for Talum. So note to do also that square as well. So there's 2 squares in this dungeon that unlock a weapon for Raphael and a weapon for Talum. So you're not going to have to purchase them later. And once again, you're going to need a lot of gold. Going through the game and doing every mission will not gain you enough gold, trust me. So you are going to have to collect gold later. So unlocking the weapons this way, where you don't have to spend extra gold, you know, because those weapons could be worth anything from 900 gold to 3,000 gold. So, and I know that doesn't seem like a whole lot. Oh, and here's the earthquake. Oh. Oh, we tried for the grapple. It didn't work. We tried for the attack. And we get the grapple. Oh. Man, oh man. Does he have his health regaining? No, it doesn't seem like it. Just not doing a whole lot of damage. There we go. We're doing the damage now, and boom. So up against the S-Guardian, the boss monster, we have defeated him, and now another feature unlocked, of course, and we leveled up as well. So we leveled up to Platinum on level 6, and by defeating the dungeon, of course, we unlock Extra Team Battle Mode. So that's how you unlock Extra Team Battle Mode in the museum, in the collection. So there we go. But finally done with that. That was like 20 minutes of this video. Like, that was almost the majority was that one bloody dungeon. So here we are back, chapter 4. So it seems like we're going to start the chapter 4. Force the bomb off you onto... Okay. So this is us versus... There's Assassin. Good old Assassin. Force the bomb off onto the enemy with your attacks. You win if the enemy has the bomb when the timer runs out. Yes, of course. Okay. So this is an interesting one. He starts with the bomb. You just have to dodge him, really, for 20 seconds, but that's almost not possible, so... And even blocked attacks count, as you can tell. It's the last attack that connects is what matters. So there's 5 seconds left, 4. So just keep up the barrage if you've got the bomb on him, as you can tell. And then boom, he had the bomb last. That's the end of it. Neither one of you can die, so it's not going to matter. And new feature unlocked by beating Chapter 4, Mission 1. And that feature would be the Money Pit top tier stage. So there's another stage unlocked as well. See, so this first video alone, we're unlocking a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff here. And yeah, now we have the Windmill, which is stage 2 of Chapter 4. Up against Yoshimitsu. Your health is low. Defeat all the enemies under this condition. Now, of course, these ideas, you can switch up your weapons and stuff at this point. Obviously, you can do it as early as the first chapter if you purchase them. And sometimes this will obviously aid you. There are weapons that heal. There's weapons that give you better defense, better attack, better soul charge, lots of stuff. We're doing pretty good against Yoshimitsu. He's barely done any damage up until right there. We nearly had him with the grapple, but he's doing his acrobatic bullshit. But there we go. We knock him out. We're at about 1/3 of our health, but we do recover almost. I'm going to say that's just about 3/4 of our health is now back. We recovered about half a bar maybe to fight against Taki. So it's only 2, even though the health is low, we only have to fight 2 enemies. Now Taki managed to do a lot of damage with that first attack. Of course, she's got full health. But we have a major comeback here, and then we just ring her out. So there we go. And another feature unlocked. And also class up to level 7. So the next feature is Double Crescent Blade, which is also a weapon for Talon. So there's 2 weapons for Talon unlocked that you didn't even need to purchase. Now some of these, of course, if you do purchase some, you're not going to get anything else as far as I'm aware. So some of these, for example, some of these missions that we do, maybe they do have, or spots in a dungeon might unlock a weapon, and I already unlocked the weapon at the time of, doing it. So it's not 100% accurate in that regard, but, once again, you might unlock a weapon that I didn't because I already had it. But for the most part, you can just follow along with this. So, okay, here we go. We got to fight all 5 of them. And we are just beating the shit out of Young Sung. We're just spamming that overhand Y. And we won. Alright. So is this just a win-win-win? I didn't actually pay attention to the conditions here. Alright, against Ivy. Oh, man, oh, man. Oh, damn. Half the health already. Quick grapple. Boom. We love our overhand Y because it gives us a ring out. And how much health do we recover? Up to full. So this might be one of those missions where no matter what, you're fighting 5 people in a row, but you will always recover all your HP, no matter how much you lose. That's possible. Okay, Mitsurugi can be very tough if he gets an early stance, so we really want to get him into that ring out position. And boom, it does happen. Very easy. Spamming that overhand Y is just the way to go. It really is with Link. Okay, Astaroth, what do you got? Same as everybody else. You're just taking L's against Link and his spammable combo. Now we just go for the quick, the trip up move. Take a little bit of damage, but it's not going to matter. We go back to full, and now we have to fight off against Siegfried. Alright, Nightmare, bring it on. Oh, we clashed. Oh, he went for the soul charge, and that was his folly, because now we have gotten almost half health done to him. Oh, that one attack. But we get a grapple in. Go for the offense. Go for the offense. Boom. and we defeat Nightmare. So that's how it's done. Spam your best move, spam your best combo, and you'll probably end up victorious. Now, finally, there was nothing actually unlocked for that particular mission. So mission number 4 now is up against Mitsurugi. The enemies favor vertical attacks and are armed with weapons that excel in breaks. Defeat all the enemies under these conditions. So they like their vertical attacks, do they? Well, once again, this is all going to be pretty irrelevant unless you are love to guard. And as you can see, he's changed up his weapon. It's probably a guard breaking weapon. You know, and once again, you can still guard, of course, but he's just going to be pretty good at guard, you know, breaking and stuff like that. So, just quickly, and of course, he's going for all the vertical attacks. So watch where you're going to put your guard, and not a whole lot of it's going to matter. Mitsurugi has quite a bit, and we're not doing near as much damage to him, but it does work, and Mitsurugi is defeated. And then you only have to face off against one more opponent. Now, your opponents may be different from mine. Most missions are set the opponent you're going to face. Not all, though. Like, this one might not always be Mitsurugi and Raphael. It could be somebody different. It could be different characters. A lot of missions are the same set characters, though, in their same order. And that was just a brutal spamming destruction. And we do gain a new feature for this one, while classing up to level 8. And with that, a weapon for Raphael. I cannot say all those fancy words. I don't know how they pronounce the W's and stuff like that. So it is what it is. So now we're finally at Sharon's Pass, which is another dungeon, and I'm sitting there like, oh, for the love of God. But you got to remember, this is subchapters and extra chapters, because they're different. There's subchapters and extra chapters, but they're far different. They're a lot longer, usually more involved. This one, which a lot more fun on the skating rink, isn't it? You know, and now we get to face off against Talum. We win that one. There's probably going to be quite a few less rooms in here. I'm guessing maybe 10 or 12. There's not going to be a crazy amount of rooms, because this is technically, I think, only our second real dungeon, or our third at best. But I think it's only our second real dungeon. Not counting the sub one. So let's see, now we have a sand pit. So at least it changes it up, right? Like, she's got healing on her, obviously, so you really want to wring her out. And she's in the sand pit, so that makes it more difficult, of course, without a grapple move or something to that effect. You know, like so. Or just keep spamming the same attacks and hope for the best, which does end up working. But yeah, this makes dungeons far less egregious, even though they are long and involved and stuff like that. Sometimes, you know, it's just like, alright.
The fighters faced final battle. Fight.
And up against Cassandra, and this is another different stage. As you can see, she's healing as well, but she's on the... We were just waiting for her to get up. We didn't even let the fire take her out. We let ourselves wring her out while walking into lava, because we got Kokiri boots on. We're fine. We're fine. Fine. So we beat up Cassandra with that one. And see, we're moving through this one a lot quicker than the Berserker one. So once again, if you're finding yourself struggling a little bit in the sub-chapters and stuff like that, just practice a little bit more. Come back with your favorite character, a character you're good with, a character you know how to utilize or spam or what have you. Okay, now Taki, of course, is the guard demon. We've had her on the ropes now twice to the ring out. That move will not ring out. Finally got her on that ring out. She is a bit of a guard demon. Let's see, we're gaining quite a bit of health back from these fights, so once again. And then, so far, we're only on now room number 4 of Sharon's Pass. Now, I don't know if it's pronounced Sharon or Sharon. I always heard it Sharon, but... Oh, Ivy is going to be... Yep, she's going to be difficult. Alright. By the time the grapple... Yeah, by the time we get the next attack, the grapple does nothing. So, yeah, she's healing at a crazy rate. So, most of these gotta... You really want to work for those ring outs when it comes to these. 100%, because while you can do a lot of damage if you can spam and they don't guard like crazy or counter you, you know, we've probably, at this point, we've probably almost done 2 health bars worth of damage to her. Almost. Yeah. See the ring out. Eventually, you just got to get yourself in position. And looking at this once again, Sharon's pass is far more forgiving because we just got all our health back. So once again, the extra dungeon or the sub dungeon, glad it's completed, the Stone Temple one, but my God, it's hated for a reason. And we face off against Ivy again, who has no time for us. He's like, nope. So we really gotta want to ring her out again, and she is kicking the crap out of us. So we really want to get that ring out, and we're going for it. We're trying. We're just not getting it. We get the grapple. Now we really need. She's got that maneuverability. We do get the ring out, but my God. And we're getting our full health back because once again, far more forgiving in the main chapter dungeons and stuff. And there's the boss room already, right? So 6 bouts gets you to the boss room. We're just gonna go up. Do of course there's probably only 1 or 2 more, you know, areas here, 2 more bouts. As I said, I assumed it'd be 10 to 12 rooms, and it looks like it's probably even less than that. You know, Ivy is obviously kicking our ass here, and she doesn't even have the healing. So the one time we're facing off against the Ivy that doesn't have the healing, she's kicking the crap out of us, and she actually wins. So that's our first L in the dungeon. That one I can take, though. You know, we've been pretty much sweeping this dungeon. There's probably only 1 or 2 rooms left after this one. Maybe this is the only room. You know, and see, as I said, it changes it up. So it's finally not Ivy facing off against Talon here. But obviously they feel that they don't need healing because they're a higher AI computer, I'm assuming. Yeah, and Talon loves her guarding. So if you can, in these dungeons, ring out. That's the long and short of it. And a new feature was unlocked again. We got Archeron for Cervantes. Archeron. Sure. I'm butchering all these pronunciations. Yeah, so that's it. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 8 rooms, including the boss room, in an actual, you know, in the earlier dungeons and stuff like that, right? So you can get through them without too much problem. And now it's Sophitia's turn. Now, is this where we're going to unlock Sophitia here on Chapter 4? So we only have Sophitia and Sungmina left to unlock in the first, for all the actual main characters. So I'm assuming this is where we get Sophitia. Now, here we go. We really want to get her. We're going to have to ring her out. And as I said, it comes true. So there we go. The chapter is not only cleared, the dungeon is not only cleared, but we unlock a new feature, which I'm going to assume is Sophitia. And it is, so that's another weapon, her standard weapon, plus, of course, Sophitia as a character is also unlocked. So we are making bank right now. We're making a lot of progress. Okay, so Altair is unlocked, which is Chapter 5. So you actually go back for Chapter 5 in Spirit Sword. You fought well with all your might. There was no other response you could have made. I see that you have a strong heart. Nevertheless, the evil that the sword contains is powerful. You do not yet understand its danger. You are filled with the false dream of an ultimate weapon and cannot see the truth something. You were not able to pass the gate, yet you were now certain that you were close to reaching Soul Edge. Didn't feel like Liana was lying. Soul Edge was real, but she did also said it was a terrible cursed sword. You would later come to accept the truth that it would be the only something. After returning to the surface, you stopped and turned suddenly to get a better look at a man who passed you by. Wasn't that the man who had scouted you out before, the one looking for Soul Edge? When you headed back to the gate, a terrible sight was awaiting for you. The gate had been sliced in two with a single cut of a blade. There was no sign of the swordsman, only Liana, laying collapsed on the ground. Without another thought, you immediately headed for something. He seeks Soul Edge, with a terrible darkness in his heart. Someone must stop him. Please inform Altair. Tell him that the first gate has fallen. I know I can count on you. You must hurry. You soon stood at the entrance to Altair, ready to face your own weakness. You must not yet let yourself be drawn to his power. Okay. So, all that happened. Now, Chapter 5 only has 2 missions on it. So, we're probably going to cover those. Now, we are Cervantes. Why are we Cervantes? Don't ask.
Nothing personal, but I must.
We team up with the Fort Soldiers to give us a shot, and this is why. 2 versions of Cervantes versus 3, so now it's a 3v3. It's getting a little actual fair here. So you get to use Cervantes here, both versions of them, or both costumes of Cervantes. I don't know if this is the same every time, if it just so happens that we get 2 Cervantes and a Link, or if it's random every time. At least on our side. So once again, you will heal up, but not to full, but you will heal up as you defeat the opponent. So obviously your goal here is to do as much damage with your first character or 2 as you can, defeating as much as you can. So here we go, up against there on their second character. We are still on our first. So this is where, even if you're not familiar with the character, just spam some buttons, go for a grapple or 2, like so. So even if you do lose, you will have done quite a bit of damage to them, so they won't have recovered in full. See, like he KO'd me. Now he's going to gain health back as well. It's only fair. But he only got half his health back because we did quite a bit of damage. So now our second star versus his second star, you know. And it's still Cervantes. Let's go. Looking pretty badass even without his power coming in. I love that move of Cervantes. I just love it. So at this point, just grapple him, take his ass down. There we go. That was some Mortal Kombat fatality level shit there. You'd hear the cracking and like just, I broke your spine, I broke your neck, I broke something. And finally, their third fighter is Mitsurugi. So let's see if we can beat him without even bringing Link out. We're pretty evenly matched here. Okay, boom, go for the grapple. Okay, that was cool. I don't get a chance to see a whole lot of their different moves because I don't utilize many other characters. But I do like Cervantes, and that was pretty cool. So we're going for another grapple, and it's a mistake because now he's about to kill us. Yeah, and now so we've got to basically fight Mitsurugi at almost full strength, or 3/4, with Link. But of course, we have the spammable, lovable Link with the Master Sword. So ideally, we would have finished that off before even getting to Link, but we were stupid, and now he's kicking the crap out of us. Because we are just being stupid with the guard and not going on the offense. Go on the offense. Kick his ass. There we go. Grapple him. And then go in for that kill. Go in for the kill. There we go. But very close. See how easily, even though we were succeeding the whole time, things can go south? Is what it is. So we get a class up to level 9. And a new feature for beating this mission on Chapter 5 is unlocked, which is extra time attack standard mode. So that's how you get extra time attack mode on standard only. But there, now it's officially unlocked. That's mission 1 of 2 on Chapter 5, and then the second, there's only 2 missions here, as I said, and now we have to fight a mirror of ourselves. You are your worst enemy. Defeat yourself. Now, if I recall correctly, this can be a pain in the ass, but maybe I get lucky on this particular one. Okay. Or maybe this isn't the one I was thinking of, but it seems like he has quite a lot more defense than normal. That should have done a lot more damage, so he's got more health or he's higher leveled or something like that. Oh yeah, he definitely is. So yeah, you want to go for the ring out with that, because obviously as you saw, the amount of damage I was doing was not great. But with those 2 missions, somewhat difficult, you can clear Chapter 5 pretty quickly. And a new feature was unlocked. We get Soul Calibur Evil for Xianghua. So early on, we get actually, as you can see, the one from the posters and stuff, we get Soul Calibur, the evil version mixed with Soul Edge, right then and there for Xianghua. So if you're using her, crazy, you not only beat Chapter 5 there, so you're halfway basically through the game, but also you managed to accomplish that. So pretty cool there. You get a really powerful weapon. Chapter 6 is the second gate. Not merely pushed along by the flow of events, but rather of your own will, you began to walk forward. The gate allowed you to pass through with ease. I apologize for deceiving you, but it was necessary. The Altair priest pointed to a sword as he spoke. What you overcome was your own self. You have proven the strength of your will. Now take this sword. You have earned it. The sword was of peculiar design. It was intricately decorated, and its blade was split in two. It emitted a feeling of purity. At the same time, you could feel a darkness within it as well. That sword possesses power of both good and evil. The priest explained that Soul Edge lay sealed in the land to the east. Furthermore, you learned that the sword you now held in your hands was in fact Soul Calibur, the spirit sword capable of defeating the cursed blade. The people's greed and ambition had weakened the seal, and the evil enemy had finally invaded the core of the seal, the spirit sword itself. The guardians of the seal built the 3 gates to fortify the seal, and they worked to purify the spirit sword. Everything had been fine for hundreds of years, but someone had destroyed one of the gates. If those bewitched by the cursed sword managed to get their hands on the weapon, the resulting devastation would be unfathomable. And it seemed that you were one of the few people who had the potential to stop it. We're actually getting through this one, my god. You will do fine. Believe in yourself. Leanna and I believe in you. The purification of the spirit sword is incomplete, but even so, it should prove useful. You turned your gaze upon the spirit sword. Perhaps this sword will become the key. Something, something, Soul Edge. Okay, almost got through it. Almost got through it. Oh, yeah, sorry. Okay, so that's the end of that. So that's the opening part for Chapter 6. We will continue on with that later. So, but count up all the stuff that we managed to do there. You know, arcade mode was quite slow on how much stuff you unlock, but we unlocked quite a few things, I would argue, right there with, you know, an hour plus of gameplay just in Weapons Master Mode alone. I mean, we got through about half of Weapons Master Mode right then and there, which just, you know, about an hour or so, you know what I mean? So, definitely doable, definitely possible, but that's the opening part for Chapter 6, which we will be continuing on in the next part. So as I already said, count up all of those collectibles we just received between different modes, different characters, some weapons, some stages. We got quite a nice variety of things this time, you know what I mean? So hopefully this was informative and quite helpful going forward. And of course, we've just unlocked Chapter 6. We read the dialogue, we read the intro for Chapter 6. We will be continuing on that journey, of course, in the next part. Look forward to it. Next part. Look forward to it, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe as always, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll be back here with some more Soul Calibur 2 featuring Link. Looking forward to it. Hope you guys are too, and have a good one, everyone. See you next time, gamers.